George Santos faces House expulsion vote today as momentum builds for ouster Washington. The House is set to decide embattled GOP Representative George Santos' future in Congress on Friday in the wake of an explosive report from the House Ethics Committee that convinced many of his colleagues to change their mind on expelling him. It's the lower chamber's third attempt since May to oust the New York Republican and comes 2 weeks after the House Ethics Committee released a damning report finding substantial evidence that Santos repeatedly broke the law. Santos would be just the sixth House member in U.S. history to be expelled and the first in more than 20 years. Representative James Traficant was removed from office in 2002 after being convicted of 10 corruption-related felonies. The House debated the resolution to expel him on Thursday, and a final vote is set for Friday morning. Time equals 400 Ms. Greater than Santos' surprise victory in the 2022 midterm elections helped Republicans capture control of the House, but he quickly became an embarrassment for the party when he was found to have fabricated or exaggerated large portions of his biography. He also attracted the attention of federal investigators, who charged him with fraud, money laundering and other crimes in May. The scope of the case expanded in October, when he was hit with more charges accusing him of stealing his campaign donors' identities and racking up thousands of dollars in unauthorized charges on their credit cards, falsifying campaign finance reports, money laundering and more. He has pleaded not guilty to all 23 federal charges he now faces. Time equals 400 Ms. Greater than his potential ouster comes despite some Republicans' concerns over the party's already slim majority in the House and reservations by some lawmakers about expelling Santos when has not been convicted of a crime. Santos has said he would wear his expulsion like a badge of honor. Time equals 400 Ms. Greater than we live in times where political expedience is more important than process, Santos said last week. Due process is dead. Due process has evaporated. The Ethics Committee released a scathing 56-page report on November 16 that detailed a broad array of alleged misconduct. According to investigators, Santos allegedly stole money from his campaign, reported fictitious loans, deceived donors and engaged in fraudulent business dealings. The situation, the report said, is unprecedented in many respects. While it is not uncommon for committee investigations to involve multiple allegations and a pattern of misconduct, the sheer scope of the violations at issue here is highly unusual and damning, it said. According to the report, Santos funneled large sums of money through his campaign and businesses to pay for his personal expenses. Investigators said he used the funds to pay for Botox injections and make purchases at high-end stores like Hermes and Ferragamo. They said he used campaign money to make payments on the adult website OnlyFans, and for meals, parking, travel and rent. He also allegedly diverted money to pay down his personal credit cards. Santos sustained all of this through a constant series of lies to his constituents, donors, and staff. About his background and experience, the report said, adding that his misrepresentations and lack of transparency have continued during his tenure in Congress. Noting the slew of embellishments that Santos repeatedly made about his education, career, family history and even the death of his mother, investigators said his own campaign staff viewed him as a fabulist, whose penchant for telling lies was so concerning that he was encouraged to seek treatment. Investigators also alleged Santos repeatedly ignored his staffers' warnings about issues with his campaign's bookkeeping. His campaign's ex-treasurer, Nancy Marks, pleaded guilty in October to a scheme to embellish his campaign finance reports. While Santos has blamed Marks for the campaign finance violations, investigators said Santos was aware of how she was reporting personal loans, and he was actively involved in the campaign's day-to-day finances. The third attempt to expel Santos comes just weeks after he survived a second effort to oust him from Congress. In May, Santos survived his first expulsion attempt, when Democrats sought to remove him from Congress after he was first charged. Republicans blocked that effort and instead referred the matter to the Ethics Committee. 5 GOP lawmakers from the Empire State, all facing competitive races next year, renewed the effort to expel him in October after he was hit with more charges, calling it a moral issue that transcended short-term political considerations. but the vote fell short of the two-thirds majority needed under the Constitution to oust a member, since most Republicans and 31 Democrats withheld support for punishing him while the Ethics Committee investigation and his criminal trial proceeded. The release of the Ethics Committee report opened the floodgates for lawmakers to embrace expelling Santos. Republican Representative Michael Guest of Mississippi, the chairman of the Ethics Committee, introduced a resolution to oust him before lawmakers left Washington for Thanksgiving. Once the House returned, Representative Robert Garcia, a Democrat from California, introduced a separate resolution as privileged, meaning the House would be required to vote on it within 2 days. This forces a vote this week, Garcia told reporters Tuesday, saying he had doubts that Republicans would actually move forward with a vote on Guest's resolution. But Republicans did move forward. GOP Representative Anthony Desposito of New York brought up Guest's resolution as privileged, and a vote was scheduled for Friday. "This is bullying," Santos said Thursday of Guest's measure. Pennsylvania Rep. Susan Wild, the top Democrat on the Ethics Committee, said later Thursday that Santos is not a victim. He is a perpetrator of a massive fraud on his constituents and the American people, she said. Santos has long rebuffed calls to resign. Doing so now, he said, would amount to him admitting to the allegations detailed in the Ethics Committee's report while also giving his colleagues an out. "I hear a lot the line, I encourage Representative Santos to resign. Do the right thing, which is resign. What I hear is people don't want to take this vote," Santos said Thursday.